Hello, and thank you for stopping by the Massachusetts Beer Reviews channel of YouTube. And my name is Thomas Mal75, and this is your Wednesday night examination on a Tuesday due to band practice. I got a show on Friday or Sunday, October 7th, so we need to practice tomorrow. That's the next day we can. So we're going to do it today, our beer examination. And maybe John Anile. I got a text message from John saying he'll be there in a minute. He's coming. And we have Louisiana Beer Reviews, Jay Terrio, Louisiana Beer Reviews, like I said. And the International Beer Reviewers Guild, Beer Talk 2018 on Facebook got the memo, so maybe a little more will join.
And don't forget, we're also members of the Beer Coalition chat.
Correct. So
welcome, Beer Coalition. Welcome, Beer Talk 2018. Welcome, International Beer Reviewers Guild.
Today is a rather silly topic, pun intended, because this is a look at silly beers, silly beer names, silly beer theme. So let's just keep it lighthearted and not too serious, but let's have some fun. All joking included, I suppose. So Jay, before I get to my beer, which silly beer do you have this evening?
Hello, folks. I am from Louisiana. I live in Louisiana. And I have a beer that is not in any way really related to this state. It's Space Dust, Elysian Space Dust, which appeared about a year ago down here, 2 years ago, when Anheuser-Busch InBev bought them, Elysian. So I was thinking about silly names. They had the movie Lions, the Stone, it's called, you know, that one. But I didn't think the price, I thought the price was a little too silly. So Stone Movie Lions is another part to it. But anyway, I bought Space Dust, so let's get dusted.
All right. Woo. I also have an IPA this evening. Their company's website just says India Pale Ale, but at 8.5, come on now. It's got to be a double Imperial. This is from the Dark Horse. Oh, there's the beer. From the Dark Horse Brewing Company out of Marshall, Michigan. This is their India Pale Ale, known as Smells Like a Safety Meeting. And you got all of these noses literally running.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that on the internet, but it's not sold down here to my knowledge. I've never seen this.
I don't remember what I paid for this, to be completely honest. I think it was maybe $2 and change.
Check this out. Look what I poured. Look.
That looks good.
Thick head, orange appearance. It's not the freshest, but
so I know some of these crazy beers and some of these flavored beers and like theme kind of beers kind of are not your strong suit. If you want to explain that for a minute while I pour my beer, what you think of gimmicks in the beer industry?
Okay, first of all, have you ever had Space Dust?
I have, yes.
Secondly, I'd rather drink a good beer. Now, flavoring in a beer is okay if it's like Samuel Smith's Imperial Chocolate Stout, you know. But a lot of it is like bull and it doesn't taste that good. And then some of the names, like the brown note and all that, it's just asinine and I hate it. And it's not silly, it's just stupid. And I mean, I don't mind silly names like Monkey Fist, because that is based on something that really exists. Yep. And Space Dust, there is Space Dust in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Turbo Dog, I don't know what a Turbo Dog is. I don't.
Sure.
That's a beat to Turbo Dog. It's fine. I mean, I don't mind if silly. Okay. I'd rather silly over offensive and like blasphemous. Oh, look at that thick brown chocolate.
It's supposed to be a India Pale Ale. This is all kinds of
it ain't pale.
Filtered. It's pale in a way. It's all kinds of sediment. It must be all kinds of sediment rich. This looks like murky, muddy, like a murky, muddy lake or river or something.
I mean, it's pale compared to mahogany, but it's still
paler than mahogany. There's a good name for this beer.
Brown.
This beer again is called Smells Like Safety Meeting from the Dark Horse Brewing Company, Marshall, Michigan. It is 8.5%, and it's 48 IBUs, and they say this is their most aromatic IPA. Lots of hop aroma with just the right amount of bitterness, as we like to keep balance around here. Between the secret scent of the most dank, in capital letter, hops we can get our hands on, and a, quote, more than healthy dose of double dry hopping, this beer can be announced to the nose from across the room that someone is definitely having a safety meeting. And this comes out only between, it says, April through July. So this one must be kind of fresh, but I can't really find a date on this bottle until maybe the chill haze comes off of it.
I was hoping William Kepley was going to join because he likes to come up with those kind of unusual topics.
William, we need you back, man. Come on.
He corrected me on some dates on my videos, and I'm not too confident about those dates. But he was saying, "Oh yeah, it's," and he's right. I mean, he's always right when he comes up with that stuff. But my whole point is, you shouldn't have to, you know, do calculus to figure out the date. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't, like Greg says, put the damn date. You know, it's like, what? I mean,
Greg's beer reviews.
So William is right. There's no doubt, but the whole concept is stupid. That you have to like use the Rosetta Stone to figure out how old the beer is.
So we got two comments here. Number one for Jay. Both are from Gabriel Salaya. Hello, Gabriel. He says, "Is there space dust in that beer?" Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's called Citra hops and Chinook.
There you go. John Anile is coming, and Gabriel Salaya says, "For my beer, the color is not good on your beer, Eric."
I know it isn't really on video.
It basically still looks like that outside of the in the room that
I live right by the Mississippi River, and it's not even as muddy as that.
John Anilli, hello, welcome to Silly Beer Names Examination from
hello, thank you for having me. Sorry I'm late. Stuck in traffic.
I was right. I told Eric.
Yeah, he thought so.
I'll tell Eric, I bet he's stuck in traffic because I experienced that my very self when we went to Atlanta. I said, "Oh, I wouldn't want to do this every day."
Barely gotten started, so we're curious as to what John Anilli has brought to the Silly Examination.
All right, I've got one I think is going to be pretty interesting. I've never had it. I've got a limited edition Abita beer. I've got Giacomo's Revenge. It's a sour IPA.
I've never even had that one, although I've seen it.
All right.
I didn't like the price. I thought the price was kind of vengeful. But
I got it for $8.99 a six-pack. It was marked down. I thought that was a pretty good deal for a limited edition brew.
Yes, I agree.
And it is an ale with grapefruit added, and it is considered a sour IPA. It is 6.5% alcohol. It has Centennial and Amarillo hops, and it is brewed with pale and caramel malts and American ale yeast. And it has a flavor as bold as the Mardi Gras Indians who march through New Orleans in feathers and beads.
There you go.
And I'm assuming you've never had the original Giacomo.
No, I didn't realize there was an original Giacomo.
Yeah, Giacomo IPA. That's why they're calling it Giacomo's Revenge. Now yours is a 65 IBU and 66.5 alcohol.
Yes.
Here's the beer that I have there, John Anilli. It's called Smells Like a Safety Meeting with the noses running. And it certainly has a murky brown appearance for an 8.5%, 48 IBU IPA. That is the most murkiest brown looking beer I have almost ever seen. So it smells, murky is a really great word to describe that. It has a lot of it does have some fruitiness to it, but it's got big, bold, as one could tell from how filtered the beer is or isn't, right? It's got big, bold, yeasty, brown bready, toasty, fruity esters to it. I guess as Jay would say, maybe like a spiced fruitcake or something, but it's more along the lines of a yeasty, bready, kind of a toasty malt with some of that dank hop aroma in there. But to be completely honest, there is tropical fruit notes, but it's almost like this fruit is indiscernible. It just has a overall kind of a citrusy aroma. This is just the most bizarre, peculiar smelling IPA I can think of. It almost has more qualities to something like a brown ale of sorts, or even like some kind of a Belgian yeasty beer in a way. Maybe like a Flanders red ale without all of that tart acidic note to it, and none of that sort of a woody barrel note to it. But it kind of reminds me of that style of beer minus the funk, minus the souring note to it. But they say it's double dry hopped, so I don't know. It's doesn't smell like any safety meeting I've ever been to.
I've never been to one. Oh, well, I guess I have. They call them in-services.
I'm going to take a sip, and while I do that, Jay can explain some space dust from Elysian Brewing Company.
Okay. Well, it's orange. It's semi-clear. This glass is very frosted with the condensation, however. I have my windows open. It's very hot today, and
It sucks.
That's October in Louisiana, 88 degrees and heat, humidity. All right, so it's it's like hop fruity and kind of pungent in the nose, and you get some barley, which is translating across as brown bread crust. Really, this was bottled on July 4th, so it's not super fresh, but that was the freshest I could find. It has a pretty sharp hop note, though. Still, it's not super hoppy, but it's pretty dang hoppy and bitter. And 8.5 is kind of chewy. It's a kind of a upper medium to almost heavy mouthfeel. It's a drying finish. I would never, ever dream of drinking more than one of these.
Yeah.
It'd be a bad decision, I think. I mean, unless you drank like 4 over. Like, if you could drink 4 in a day. If you drank 1 every 4 hours, I guess it'd be all right. But I would be very reluctant to gulp this stuff. And I gave you a rundown of what I drank today, and you could see after I gave you the rundown, it was very minimal. Very
eclectic rundown of Jay Terriot's review products today.
Right. It was eclectic, and I have to say you probably were impressed.
Some of those beers, well, the ones that I do know of that I've had are 100% better than what I'm drinking right now. But I'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, wow.
And mine's not really that great. It tastes exactly how I described it, and it tastes. Use some descriptors to describe what the appearance looks like, and that's actually good descriptors of what it actually tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
Murky brown, hazy, mysterious. Even if you said it looks like what the F, that's kind of how it tastes. What the F?
Yeah, what the fool?
It really is. It's really weird. It is like some kind of a Belgian sour beer, but a dry version without any of the Belgian funky yeast, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to describe that, but it's like a Flanders red ale with none of that tart note to it, with every other malty aspect to a red style Belgian beer without it, again, being tart or funky. But again, it's still from the nose has this toasty, malty, brown, bready thing going on. I suppose you can tell that this is 8.5. It's got some of that. At the very end, when it dries, is where all of the hops are. So it finishes strong. No pun intended. It does finish strong with some alcohol, but not cutting your head off. But it does finish strong in the hop department, even if it's 48 IBUs. It still finishes somewhat strong and bitter, but the bitterness is kind of quick and gone. Just the beginning of it, and the beginning and the middle of the sip are all kinds of, maybe I need to try this fresh, but I think the beginning and the middle of the sip is all kinds of wrong. This is, I don't know anybody that if they had this particular bottle that I'm drinking, maybe this is a bad bottle, I don't know. But if somebody that really, like myself, that really truly enjoys their IPAs was looking for a delicious IPA from even the West Coast and was looking for one that exemplifies the style of IPA or double IPA, they would be extremely disappointed that they just purchased this beer.
In other words, it's gross.
I can't quite call it gross, but I can't quite call it enjoyable either. It's not gross to the point where I want to drain pour this thing. It's just, I don't know exactly, even when I read that description to you guys from the Dark Horse Brewing Company's website, I still don't really understand exactly what they're going for, if this is how it tastes when they have it available. Kind of confused. But they have a video that the brewers, that some guys from the brewery did on the beer. I may have to watch that later and see if my thought is what they talk about. Because if they're mimicking what I'm telling you about this beer, basically, then this is what they tried to brew, ... Why? I don't know. So far, it's not a drain porter, but it's not good. And Gabriel Salaya says, I'd like it if you diarrhea in your, it's like if you diarrhea in the beer. Okay, Gabriel.
Gabriel, you have a gift for speaking.
Yes. There's my little spiel about that. The best aspect of it is the
inappropriately. I
didn't. Finish is a little bit 8.5 and a little bitter. So that's the best part. All right. I am done now. Let's hear from John Anili. Giacomo's Revenge.
All right. So I have not had the regular Giacomo IPA, but this one is very good. It's a lot different than, your standard beer. It's kind of, I was always wanting to try a cross between an IPA and a sour beer, and here you go. And it's got grapefruit added, so that's the first thing that I'm picking up on the nose. And then this is a legitimate sour ale. You could tell that this has a lactobacillus in it. It's very sour right up front. You do pick up the grapefruit initially. You get that nice sourness on the palate. There's a nice little breadiness to this one as well in the middle of the sip. The 6.5% alcohol is non-existent. You could get into trouble with this one. It definitely tastes a lot lower than 6.5. It's got a little bitterness to it. It's almost like they used more, I'm not sure what, like Centennial and Amarillo. I don't know if those are traditionally more West Coast style hop varieties, but it's almost like they used more West Coast style or went with a West Coast style IPA, a little bit more bitter, and then added that grapefruit juice to it to kind of sweeten it up a little bit and give it a little more citrus components.
By the way,
it's very nice.
By the way, quickly, drinks.seriouseats.com. How to identify the hops in your beer. I believe it's pronounced Amarillo. I could be wrong, kind of like that town in Texas. So for Amarillo, the article here says Amarillo possesses I'm just going to say a couple of, like, one sentence for each of these, but it's like biting into a tangerine. It possesses a distinct quality of oranginess, they say.
Yeah, and the Amarillo is in my beer also.
And you're getting that similar note as well with the orangey tangerine note?
Well, yeah, a little bit like orange pith and orange peel.
Pith. That's a big old New England IPA terminology people throw around all the time.
I
And they
definitely don't think I
say-
would be getting
Piss.
as much citrus
Yeah.
if it wasn't.
You can kind of get like guava, passion fruit, lychee, and stone fruit flavors
I don't know
out
about
of
all that.
Citra.
Yeah, because
But
I'm not.
Citra is going to be citrus forward. So if you can believe the name citrus, there you go.
I'm not advanced enough to comment to that, all of that, but there's definitely an orange pith, an orange peel thing going on with my Amarillo, and I want to mention that I have been to Amarillo, Texas, and that's the location of the Big Texan Steakhouse, where if you can eat a 72-ounce steak,
Oh yes.
within 1 hour, you get it free. But then, of course, you have to ask the question: who would ever want to eat a 72-ounce steak in 1 hour? But anyway, all right. That's the. We love steak, but we're not insane. Apparently, back in the 1990s, there was like a 400-pound man that would go in there once a month, and he would always win.
Holy crap! Woo.
Well,
would Jocko's revenge go well with a good cut of steak, John and Neely?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Probably not, maybe not 72 ounces, but yeah, definitely a good steak.
What else you get?
This one is relatively light bodied for 6.5%. You could drink a few of these pretty easily. The finish is refreshing as well. Something about it, and maybe it's just me. I guess if you don't like sour beers, you might not find it refreshing. But something about the tartness, the sour qualities that you get with these types of beers just really up the refreshing and the enjoyability factor for me personally. It is very hoppy, and hoppy beers, especially your IPAs, are not something that I would tend to gravitate towards a lot. But because it has that nice sourness in there, I find that it's very well balanced between the tartness and the bitterness. And I could drink a few of these. I'm really enjoying this. I'm liking the combining of the two styles. I really think it works with this beer.
Awful.
Wow, it sounds like you're considering it really a winner.
I'm gonna have to get another beer.
I think so. Yeah.
And
I
Eric,
was looking through Beer Advocate a little bit on this. It smells like a safety meeting beer. And although it's getting about let me click on this. Although it's getting about a 3.95 out of 5, I'm still finding here and there that there are people that don't understand how this beer can get any really good praise, because there are a bunch of people that do find that this beer is not exactly what they expected it to be. There was one person that talked about it almost tastes like chewing tobacco in the worst possible way, and I can understand that a little bit. And somebody said it's got a touch of fruit and ganja. I can understand that a little bit. And somebody said it tastes more like a red ale with heavy dose of American hops. It tastes more like a double amber. So, I don't quite think that this is an F beer, but it might just be, I don't know, it could be at least, it could be at most a 65 out of 100. This is not really.
wait a minute, wait, whoa. Here's the cut and dry of it.
Ooh.
You cannot finish it. It's an F.
I can finish
because that's my qualifying score determination. If it's bad and I can finish it, it's a D.
Yeah.
I'll say it's a bad beer. I don't like it. It tastes bad, but I can finish it. If I cannot finish it and I dump it out, there's no other score it's going to get but an F. Okay. I drank the Super Brew 15. I tried to take one sip each hour. I said, that's how I'm going to finish this beer. Every hour that goes by, I'm going to take a sip. Eventually, it'll be gone. So I was like, the first hour, a sip. By the third hour, I was like, ain't no way. I dumped it out. That's an F. I mean, right? I mean, that makes sense, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, at least it passes for a beer. And in where I've gone to school, my personally, 65 is at least passing. But you squeak by. You squeak by in the world. And luckily, this if Dark Horse has to put this beer out, luckily it's only done between April and July, so this doesn't get to people's mouths all that often. I think you should probably run for the hills if you ask me with this one. This is so perplexing, and again, like I said earlier, maybe John hadn't been onto the review yet, on the examination here yet, but I think when most people want to crack open an IPA and drink an IPA, they are not thinking of practically a dirty, yeasty red ale. I don't know.
Look at me. Look.
Yeah, I'm 65. I may drain pour it after the examination, but that's not really because I cannot drink it. It's that god awful. It's just this is not what I want to drink for a singular beer this evening. I might want to switch it up.
I think a D is too high. Now
I
look,
probably think you're right.
Look at this. What does that tell you?
That you like the beer Guinness?
Not big. Oh, okay.
All
right.
That's a good beer.
Let's ignore the label. All right, look at that. What do you notice in the glass? Oh, yes, nothing.
Dimples?
So I drank it down fast, even though it's 8.5, and high IBUs. And why is that? Why did I drink it so fast? And why did I do all that? Well, because it's delicious. It tastes good. It's a well-made beer. Oh, yeah, I know it's owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev. But you know what? It's drinkable. It's delicious. It has bitterness, but not too much. It has some balance to it, even though mine is not super fresh. It was only $1.
Yeah.
$1.59 for a bottle or something like that. No, $1.89, yeah, something like that. $2.07 after tax, I think. I have the receipt already. Forget it all. It wasn't expensive. All right, so and then a girl at the checkout said, "Oh, so early? You're gonna drink so early?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm drinking it tonight at 6:30. Well, 7:30 your time." And she like rolled her eyes like I was lying. I said, "Okay, I can prove it." I said, "I can prove it because you can look on YouTube, and this video is going to be live on YouTube. Me drinking it." And then she says, "Oh, live. I said, "That's right. How you feel? Played because you thought I was going to drink it this morning." Now, did I drink some stuff?
Played.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I drank some stuff this morning, but it wasn't space dust. Now, what would I score mine?
Like a safety meeting.
Oh my gosh. What did I score mine? And I'm about to get off of this video production due to work-related technical scheduling issues.
Woohoo.
I'm going to say an A. It's a solid A. It never is going to let you down. I would still prefer to drink the Sierra Nevada Torpedo, but I don't see that too much anymore because of trends and all of that. But I like it, and I would highly recommend it. So a solid 94, 95 out of 100. You can't go wrong with that. No way, no how. And I have to talk to John and Neil eventually, maybe not tonight, but eventually about the stunning, and I mean stunning, experience I had with the King Square blended whiskey. I just couldn't get over it. The video was 17 minutes. That tells you right there. Shocked, stunned.
Shocked over. All right.
I'll shut up, but I just couldn't get over it.
You got a final thoughts and ratings for some Giacomo's Revenge, John Anilli?
Yes. Well, I think Jay and I had much better beers than you. As you can see, mine is gone.
Yeah, you absolutely did.
And by the way, Elysian Space Dust is one of my favorite IPAs. I mean, that's such a great beer.
Yeah.
I would say to go watch the review, but it is no longer posted on YouTube. I won't get into that.
Yeah.
But anyway, for a rating, I'm thinking, ooh, this is such a unique beer because it combines two very different styles. An IPA with all the bitterness and the citrus notes that you're getting from the hops, you know, with a super sour, product with the lactobacillus in there that just gives it this really strong sour punch. I really like it. I think maybe you might start seeing more of these beers in the future, these kind of hybrid styles. We talked about this not too long ago. Like, yeah, pretty soon they're going to start making sour IPAs. And then sure enough, I see this one today. I'm very pleased with it. It's kind of hard for me to rate because it's kind of it's so different. I mean, I love sours, but it's so different from your standard sour because it's got all those hops in there. I'm going to go right on the line, between B and an A. I'm just going to go 90 out of 100. It's an A-, but I could be lowballing it because I love traditional sour beers. This one is so different from a standard sour ale. But it's excellent, but it's on the lower end for me, but it could be higher. If you really love IPAs and sour beers, you might give this like a 97 out of 100, and I wouldn't argue with you. But for me, it's a 90 out of 100. It is excellent on the lower end, and it's definitely worth trying because it is so different from anything else that I've really ever had. So
now, before I get off the air, John and Nilly, can I ask you a question?
Shoot, what you got?
With Jay Terrio.
Yep, Q&A with Jay Terrio. If you ever visited Louisiana, do you think you'd want to visit the Abita Brewery?
Yeah, I would love that. Abita's got a lot of good beers that I would like to try that are local to Louisiana, and then of course seeing some of the videos that you did at the brewery, and then just the history of Abita in general and some of the great products they have. I would love it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched a lot of your videos and it seemed like your general impression was favorable towards what they make.
Yeah, I think they make a really good amber ale. Of course, the Turbo Dog and the Andy Gator are really awesome beers. Yeah, I like Abita. I'm pretty favorable towards their products in general. The best one I think still that I've ever had was the Abita Straw Gator. That blew me away. I was not expecting it to be that good, but that's pretty much a world-class beer right there.
I saw Straw Gator today and I almost bought it. But you've never had their oyster stout made with oysters?
Oh.
No, I have not. I would love to try it though. Made
with actual oysters, Eric. Your kind of thing. You're in the East Coast, there in clam country, so
I think we do have a beer. Wachusett Brewery just came out with a beer with a local oyster farm. So it is a thing, and I've had one from Harpoon Brewery. The people that are putting out Harpoon and Dunkin' Donuts Porter beer for all you New Englanders. Oh boy!
I said nothing goes. I put that in alcohol eggs. And I said nothing goes better than beer and donuts,
Yeah, well, America and Dunkin', well, basically New England does.
And it's no longer Dunkin' Donuts, right? It's just Dunkin'.
Dunkin', because everyone just says that. No, nobody really says I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts. Actually, nobody really says they're going to Dunkin's. They say they're going to Dunk's guy, kid.
Well, in Louisiana, I'm sorry, but I can't speak for New England. But in Louisiana, everybody.
Calm down, sir. It's called Dunkin' Donuts, ma'am.
I see you're rather exercised by the conception. No, in Louisiana, everybody says, "Hey, y'all, let's go to Dunkin' Donuts."
Sounds like an appropriate time.
That's what they say down here. Hey, y'all, let's go to Dunkin' Donuts and get some donuts. And while we're there, maybe we can get some coffee.
We got to get our ice dunked in our freaking crullers. No. Fucking crullers.
That's why we don't get along with New England. Hey,
language, maybe.
Hey, well,
I
guess I gotta get off of this, Eric. But tomorrow night, I can't misspeak. I was gonna announce something tomorrow night, but
yeah, go ahead. Do it up.
Okay, world. I want to say this to you.
And one other viewer.
Oh, I was going to say the 200,000 or 300,000 people.
Minus 100.
That's minus 100, 200,000 or 300,000. as is the case with my videos generally.
Almost done.
Tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, and I sent John and Illy a message. We're going to do Rich and Rare. Rich and Rare was introduced in 1962. It's a whiskey. I know you're not into that.
It's not a country duo.
It could be, but it is rich. I'll agree with that. It is rich. I don't know about rare. My whole theory is if you can buy it at Walmart, that's a sign that it's not rare, you know. But anyway, we've been and John and Lily can back me up. We've been chomping at the bit on this for like what, 6 months. So
6 months, damn.
It's been very difficult for me not to open my new bottle. I'm saving it for tomorrow. So
right. So but what I wanted to say was we're gonna start at 6, but really it'll be more like 6:15 because I'm gonna they don't let you do it at 15-minute increments. So I set it for 6, but it'd be more like half past the hour, and I mean a quarter past the hour, quarter past. And so we'll look at that, and then in a month in November, and thankfully, Eric, I won't have to clash with Wednesday because I have a Monday open.
Woo.
We can do Rich and Rare Reserve, which I have a feeling is going to be even more exciting because I was so flabbergasted by Rich and Rare, which was so much better than I dreamed. And Johnny is probably rolling his eyes saying, "Oh yeah, right." But I can only go by what I'm tasting. You know, if you don't like it, you know, I understand that. And then in December, we got some exciting things. But so I'm looking forward to it. And
Rich and Rare.
It's the 19th. It's the 19th best-selling whiskey in the United States. True story. Number 19. Well, you know, that's not bad. I wish I was the 19th best-selling whiskey. Income, right? Well,
yeah.
Eric, yeah, right. You know, and you know what number 9 is? Canadian Club.
Whoa.
Oh no, retraction. Number 9.
Oh.
Number 9 is Black Velvet. Sorry about that, folks. Canadian Club's like number 5. Well, Eric, I'm sorry you have to suffer through that. I appreciate you inviting me to this hangout. I appreciate joining in. There's some bad beers. He did it.
So you can stick with that D rating, Eric. You were able to.
I'm sticking with the 65. It's no more than that.
It's interesting though, because if you drank Camo Black, you would think that what you just drank was like an A.
Possibly a C plus.
I swear, if you drank Camo Black, you would say that.
Possibly an 80 at the most.
Smells like a safety meeting is, but you know,
it smells like a decision worth regretting.
It would really be worth it.
Anyway, so Jay, as you leave, silly beer names and silly themes in beer. Your final thoughts. Go.
I like the idea of silly names. I think that's fine. I don't like the idea of offensive names where you're trying to upset people and that kind of stuff. But so silly names is good. I like, you know, the company Clown Shoes. There's a lot of silly names, and they're usually pretty in good taste. So yeah, I'm favorable towards silly names. Yes.
Okay, John and Nilly, your thoughts on all things silly beer.
As long as the beer is good, I don't really care what you call it. As long, like Jay said, as long as it's not something like, you know, overtly offensive, I think that it's all in good fun. And yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, with the craft beers that are out there now, all the craft beers that are being made, there's a lot of silly name beers out there.
So
for whatever reason, craft breweries love silly names. So hey, I'm all for it. Just yeah, keep it respectable. But yeah, I like it.
You wouldn't gravitate towards fuck you Flanders then? Okay, red ale. All right. No, bad tasting. beer.
No.
That didn't taste verbally.
What's it called? Funky Flanders? Funky Flanders? That doesn't sound bad.
Funky. That's cool. Yeah, and you can.
No,
Have
I literally I didn't understand what you said.
I said so. John, he said as long as it's in good taste and as long as the beer tastes good, he doesn't care what the beer's name is. So you don't want FU Flanders ale, maybe? No.
Oh no, I mean that's like a bunch of
All right.
bunch of people who are satisfied to be a jerk. Okay.
If you can get some of these beers that have a theme to them, or that are kind of have comical names to them, especially in my case, I'm glad I did it. Instead of a 6-pack of this, if you can get, like I was saying, some themed beers or beers that have silly, fun names, and just try them in singles. That's a much better way to decide if this is just going to be a gimmicky kind of a thing or if it's going to be a really good beer. And I'm glad I did. I don't recall seeing a 6-pack of this. However, the website says for Dark Horse, you can get a 6-pack of this. Smells like a safety meeting. And that sounds like a awful, too expensive idea. So I would not do that. I'm certainly glad I tried this beer because how else were I to know I don't like it? How else would I know, if I say proper English, that I did not like this beer without ever trying it? So that is perfectly good. They make a beer called Dark Horse Brewing Company makes an exceptional, the only other beer I believe I've had from them. I might have had a Crooked Tree IPA, but the only other beer I know I've had from Dark Horse was I Plead the Fifth Imperial Stout. And that was like night and days, head over heels better than this beer. And that was a amazing Imperial Stout.
Yeah. Well,
yes, Jay.
Let me ask you these 2 questions. First, are you going to be doing a video next Wednesday?
Yep. I was going to get to that. So, yes, I am.
Secondly, what is the theme?
Okay. So, I'm thinking about the next 2 weeks here. Definitely next week is going to be some, let's call it fall seasonal 2018 edition. So, you want to bring a pumpkin beer, you want to bring an Oktoberfest beer, you want to bring anything else that's seasonal to then that comes out that breweries put out in October.
Yeah, I just reviewed a beer this morning from Oktoberfest, and I was shocked when I realized I had not tried that beer in 7 years.
Okay.
I thought it was like a year, and I was like, well, the last time I tried it was 2011, and you know what it was called?
Spaten Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah, because you looked at my message. Oh yeah, right.
That sounds absolutely delicious and thirst quenching compared to what I just.
Awesome! It was 5.9. It was awesome. I loved it. It's from Germany, but yeah, I have a lot of.
A little better than Paulaner. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Spaten Oktoberfest beer is it's called Marzen. Our Marzen. I think they claim it's the original Oktoberfest beer. I think it really is a little bit better than the Paulaner. Yeah.
I mean, go get Paulaner beer. I don't want to prolong this and keep you any longer. But if you want to get like really just like safe, like it's probably easy to find. You want to just get safe drinking beers where you're not going to be worried if you're going to hate it or not, but just kind of not be floored or wowed. Then Paulaner is definitely going to be a good beer brand to try. They do good beer styles to a T, but they're not like Weihenstephaner where they do it to a T and they wow you. They just do it to a T, and that's about really.
Yeah, but whoa! What about Spaten?
Spaten is above that.
Okay, all right.
Their Optimator is amazing. I like it.
Yeah, and then they have it on draft at the Oktoberfest and the Volksfest here. And
I like that because it actually is a really drinkable beer. Okay, that was Austrian.
Right, and they put it in an imperial pint glass this big. It's like crazy. Well,
okay.
Anyway.
And then I'm gonna say before we leave that I'm thinking about. I have my kind of a idea list here. I'm thinking about fall seasonals next Wednesday, and then in 2 weeks maybe we can do those nitro beers.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking maybe I could bring Boddington's or Abbott Ale, which I know I'll never find.
I believe I have the Breckenridge Vanilla Porter Nitro.
I'm pretty limited these days, but I could always get the Guinness Stout.
Hell yeah. So that's what I'm thinking for the next 2 weeks. We can certainly collaborate on that, but definitely come next week, everybody, for Fall Seasonal 2018. Again, can consist of pumpkin beers. Probably will consist of Oktoberfest beers. Harpoon puts out a hoppy amber called Flannel Friday. It can be any kind of a beer that comes out in the fall. Bring one.
And where is it? It's not showing up over here. I'm starting to get irritated.
Ooh, because that's a really good Harpoon beer. So anyways, without further ado, I think we are going to call this one an evening from the state of Georgia with John and Nile, and the state of Louisiana with Jay, Terry out Louisiana Beer Reviews. Go Red Sox from the state of Massachusetts, Thomas Metal 75, Eric Fraunfelter. And until next time, this has been a bad beer, but a great examination on some silly kind of beers. So until next time, keep tasting those great and better beers. Cheers. We'll see you soon. And that's been a wrap, folks.
Cheers.